By 1949, the magic was almost gone. The studio that had once dared to create the first feature-length animated film was barely surviving. Not because it lacked imagination, but because the world had changed. War had drained resources, international audiences had disappeared, and the studio's most ambitious dreams had been put on hold. For nearly a decade, Disney had been fighting just to stay alive. This wasn't a story about innovation, it was a story about rebuilding, and the film that brought Disney back from the brink was Cinderella. The late 1930s had been Disney's golden age. In 1937, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs proved something no one in Hollywood believed. Animation could carry a full-length story. Audiences laughed, they cried, and the film became the highest-grossing motion picture of its time. Then came Pinocchio. In 1940, a film so technically advanced that many historians still consider it one of the most beautifully animated films ever made. That same year, Walt attempted something even more ambitious. Fantasia. It was an experiment in music, animation, and cinema itself. But that ambition came with a price. These films were extraordinarily expensive to produce, and Disney relied heavily on international markets, especially Europe, to make back those costs. Then the war began, and those markets disappeared overnight. The early 1940s were the most difficult years the studio had ever faced. In 1941, a bitter labor dispute erupted into the Disney animators' strike. Animators walked out, morale collapsed, and the studio that had once felt like a family was suddenly divided. Then, the United States entered World War II. The Disney studio was partially taken over by the U.S. military. Barracks were built on the lot, soldiers guarded the gates, many artists were reassigned to producing training films, propaganda shorts, and educational material for the war effort. Feature animation, once Disney's defining ambition, became nearly impossible. To survive, the studio turned to smaller anthology films. Projects like Solo Amigos, The Three Caballeros, and Make Mine Music were cheaper to produce. They kept the lights on, but they were never meant to carry the studio forward. By the mid-1940s, Disney was facing a harsh reality. The company was deeply in debt, and the golden era of feature animation felt very, very far away. In difficult moments, Walt Disney often returned to the stories that had inspired him from the beginning. Fairy tales. Stories that audiences already understood. Stories rooted in emotion rather than spectacle. One of those stories had been sitting quietly in the studio archives for years. Cinderella. The tale, first popularized in Europe through the writings of Charles Perrault, had long been one of the most beloved fairy tales in the world. Disney had even considered adapting it in the early 1930s, before Snow White entered production. But at the same time, Walt believed the studio wasn't ready. Now, a decade later, the situation had changed. Cinderella offered something Disney desperately needed: a familiar story, a grounded emotional core, and a film that could be produced with discipline. This wouldn't be the studio's most experimental project, but it would be one of its most important. To control costs, the Disney studio relied heavily on a technique it had experimented with before, but never at this scale. Live-action references. Actors were filmed performing entire scenes, walking across rooms, turning their heads, expressing emotion. Animators then studied the footage frame by frame. One of the key performers was Helene Stanley, whose performance became the physical foundation for Cinderella herself. This process wasn't simple tracing. Animators refined, exaggerated, and stylized the movements. But the live-action performances provided a blueprint. The result was animation that felt natural, graceful, and believable, but while saving valuable production time. The studio also simplified many production techniques. Background paintings were elegant but restrained. Camera moves were carefully planned, and every scene was designed to maximize emotional clarity rather than visual complexity. Cinderella wasn't meant to be extravagant. It was meant to be precise. Disney's earlier films often centered on spectacle, but Cinderella was intentionally quieter. The story unfolds mostly in a single house. The conflict is personal rather than epic, and the heroine herself is remarkably restrained. Cinderella doesn't fight. She doesn't rebel. She endures. In the aftermath of the war, that tone resonated deeply. Millions of people across the world had spent years enduring hardship, uncertainty, and loss. Cinderella's patience, her belief that life could still change, felt meaningful in a world still rebuilding. By the time Cinderella neared completion, the stakes could not have been higher. The film cost nearly $3 million, a huge risk for a studio already in financial trouble. Walt Disney personally pushed forward with production, believing that the studio had to return to full-length storytelling if it hoped to survive. If the film failed, Disney might not recover. There were no backup plans, no safety net. Everything rested on one glass slipper. When Cinderella premiered in 1950, something remarkable happened. Audiences returned, theaters filled, and critics praised the film's warmth, humor, and emotional sincerity. The box office success was immediate. Cinderella became one of the biggest films of the year. For the first time in nearly a decade, Disney was financially stable again. The success of Cinderella changed everything. It allowed Disney to return to ambitious feature animation. Soon came Alice in Wonderland, then Peter Pan, and eventually one of the most visually ambitious animated films ever attempted, Sleeping Beauty. Cinderella also helped fund another dream Walt had been quietly developing, a place where stories could exist in the real world. And you know that place as Disneyland. Today, Cinderella is remembered as one of Disney's most beloved fairy tales, but its true legacy lives behind the scenes. Cinderella reminded audiences of something simple: that kindness, patience, and hope still mattered. Cinderella didn't just revive a fairy tale, it restored the future of the Disney studio. And next time, we'll step away from the films themselves and turn our attention to something just as important, and a story chosen by you. The voices behind the characters we love, the performances that shape generations, yet so many of the people behind them remain unknown. If you enjoyed that look back into Cinderella, hit the like button, subscribe to Mouseketeer Moment, as it really does help out the channel, as we continue to explore the movies that built our childhood. Thank you.